split the two-game set with Pittsburgh, and the Yankees lose the first game 5-2 and win the second game 16-0. So they were able to respond after, a very lackluster first game where, Jameson Taillon struggled, and he hasn't been great lately. Taillon, we talk about kind of ranking 1 through 5. It's a practice that is not one that matters all that much, although, I guess it kind of does come postseason time. Jameson Taillon right now is your number 5. So it was disappointing back at Pittsburgh. Didn't really pitch well, but look, it didn't matter that much. The Yankees were only able to muster 2 runs. Game 2, it took the Yankees a while to get on the scoreboard, and then once they did, they completely exploded. 16-0 is a little misleading, as six of those runs were against a position player in the 9th inning. With that being said, they were still up 10-0. So the offense really did break out in that second game, and you hope that can lead to something heading into what should be a very interesting big 4-game set at Fenway Park against the Red Sox. So the Yankees now with a very comfortable lead in the AL East. They are up by 14 games on the loss side against the Red Sox and the Rays, 15 games up on the loss side against the Blue Jays. So a very comfortable AL East lead. But look, you do want to stay ahead of the Astros. The Astros finally lost tonight. So the Yankees are now 5 games up on the loss side. So that's close. There's 2 more games with Houston at the Astros. So Yankees want to keep on winning. They are now 59-23. And you certainly didn't want to lose both to Pittsburgh. That would have been tough. It wouldn't have been, sky is falling, but that certainly would have been annoying. But, look, it's a road series. Would you have liked to won both? Sure, but you can't complain a whole lot with splitting a road series, no matter who it's against. And like I said, game 1, Yankees really just didn't do a whole lot. As far as I was concerned, they did get 10 hits, but it never felt like they were going to come back in this game. Anthony Rizzo was out for both of these Pittsburgh games, lower back stiffness. So Rizzo, who was in the original lineup for game 1, was then taken out of the lineup and was not available for game 2 either. I would not be all that surprised if he missed the first Red Sox game. I hope he doesn't. But I think he certainly will be back by the end of the Boston series. It doesn't sound like this is an injured-list situation. With that being said, it also sounds like it might take a couple of days. So with Rizzo, my guess would be he'll be out for the first game of the Red Sox series, and then maybe he comes back for the Friday game. And I think you'll certainly see him by Saturday. So I think out Thursday, Friday's 50-50, and I think he will certainly be back by Saturday. That's the hope. I think this is an issue that he had with the Cubs, and so you hope to see Rizzo back in there. That's pretty important. But, for the Yankees, game 1 was a game which saw them against left-hander Jose Quintana, former Chicago White Sox. And Quintana was pretty good in this one, 5 innings, 1 run. Did a really good job of holding the Yankees down. As far as Russ Roulette was concerned, a bit thrown off. There really wasn't much of one, especially with Rizzo out. Carpenter came in, so a tough spot for Carpenter versus the lefty Quintana, but eventually he would come through versus the righties in the bullpen. But Carpenter would DH. DJ would play first base with Rizzo out. And, the Yanks struggled, and offensively it's tough because they get the 16-run outing in game 2, but the facts is that the offense really up until that point had been struggling with some really good games mixed in. It's been a bit of all or nothing, where there's games where they'll score maybe 1 or 2 runs, and then some games when they'll absolutely go crazy and get double-digit runs. So statistically it looks good, but you want a little more consistency. But for the Yanks, Pittsburgh really got to Tyone, and the home run ball was key. Daniel Vogelbach hits his 11th home run of the season in the second inning to give the Pirates a 1-0 lead. So Tyone, first game back against his former Pirate team, and Pittsburgh got the better of them. They take that 1-0 lead right there. And then in the bottom of the fourth, it is a leadoff double for Brian Reynolds, who, is in trade rumors. I think if the Yankees want to get him, they're going to have to give up a lot. I like Reynolds, but you're going to have to give up a lot to Pittsburgh to get him. And then Jack Suwinski, the rookie, hits a 2-run homer, his 14th of the year, to give the Pirates a 3-0 lead. And then the Pirates would not stop there, as with 2 outs, the former Yankee Ben Gamel gets an RBI double, and that gives the Pirates a 4-0 lead. So they were looking pretty good at that point. But then in the fifth, Yankees had a little bit of a rally going. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, who had a very good series, had 3 hits in each in each game. So 6 hits overall in these 2 games for Kiner-Falefa. He gets a double. Then DJ LeMahieu grounds out, and then Aaron Judge gets a 2-out RBI single. So Judge helps cut the lead to 4-1. And then in the 6th, I was surprised that the Yanks had started Tyone. Pitch count was up. The part of the order that was coming up was one that gave Tyone problems. I probably would have just let him pitch the 5 and take him out, but they start Tyone in the 6th, gives up a leadoff single to Suwinski. Then Vogelbach grounds out. Suwinski moves to second. They bring Lucas Litke on, and it's a single for Setsugo, and then a sac fly for O'Neal Cruz to give the Pirates that 4-run lead again at 5-1. So 5-1, and then in the 7th, the Yankees threaten. It's first and second, 1 out, but Aaron Judge grounds into a double play. Then in the 8th, the Yankees would score a run, a leadoff walk by Gleyber Torres. Then there's a wild pitch, moves over to second. Stanton grounds out. He moves over to third. Josh Donaldson pops out, so does not get the run in. And then Matt Carpenter gets a 2-out RBI single to cut that lead to 5-2. But then Aaron Hicks, with just a brutal at bat, as far as I was concerned, he strikes out. So a strikeout for Aaron Hicks. And what's a little bit frustrating for me is Hicks really kind of explodes. He didn't even start the second game, but he ends up with a grand slam against a position player, so the stats look good. I really think that Aaron Hicks should consider, he would never do it, and maybe the stats don't back this up. It's just more of a feel thing for me and just the eye test. He seems like a much better right-handed hitter. And it was funny because in the second game against the position player, it was a right-handed pitcher, but Hicks still went to his right side. And, I'm just saying, I think Hicks looks just like a little bit, it looks like the mechanics are better as a righty. But anyway, that's a conversation for another day. So it's 5-2, and then Aroldis Chapman, I guess, is a bit of a bright spot, even though I still don't trust the guy. But Chapman with a 1-2-3 inning in this game, and then he did it as well in the second game. So Chapman, seems to be coming back around. I still don't think he should be used in the highest leverage situations, but, good to see he's doing well. But I don't know, that might be fool's gold, but we'll see. Then in the 9th, closer David Bednar comes on. There's a 1-out single for Kiner-Falefa, then LeMahieu grounds out, and then Aaron Judge strikes out looking to end it. And Judge, to this point, been a bit of a funk, but he would turn that around in that second game, like I said. But the Yankees lose game 1, 5-2 to the Pirates. The Yankees always kind of battle back and fight back, and I guess in some ways they did in this game, but you kind of had the feeling that it wasn't the Yankees' night. But in game 2 it was, in a major way it was as well. The Yankees explode, like I said, for 16 runs, and what shouldn't be lost was a really good outing for Luis Severino. Severino goes 6 shutout, just 4 hits, no walks, only 3 strikeouts, but it was a really good job by Severino. And I think that shouldn't be lost in the mix. But in this one, Gallo in, Hicks out, Carpenter starting in right field, and it worked out. Defensively, there was no issues there that found him. So Carpenter, that's an interesting development that Carpenter, started in the outfield, because he might get some starts out there to get him in the lineup more. So Carpenter, like I said, that happened. But other than that, again, DJ playing first base with no Rizzo. Stanton moves to DH with Carpenter, playing right. And, the Yankees had some missed opportunities early But in the fifth is when the onslaught would begin. And believe it or not, it starts off with a leadoff walk by Joey Gallo. Then a bit of a hit and run, which the Yankees have done a lot better. There was one mistake by Rojas, the third base coach. But really, the overall aggressiveness has been pretty well calculated and has worked out to the Yankees' favor. So Connor Falefa gets the single, and Gallo goes to third. The hit and run kind of helped as it moved O'Neill Cruz over a little bit. And so what could have been a double play ends up being first and third. Kyle Higashioka strikes out looking, but I will say that was a bad call. Higgy, who I've been hard on this year, deservedly so. That wasn't his fault. That was not a strike, but it was called a strike. Connor Falefa steals second on that play. So now you get second and third, infield's drawn in with one out, and DJ LeMahieu gets a pretty big two-run single to give the Yanks a 2-0 lead. The miscue by Rojas happens where Judge doubles, and LeMahieu is thrown at home. It wasn't the right move. It was not the right move. DJ, not the fastest runner in the world. He just... I don't know, very aggressive there, and it didn't work out. And then Matt Carpenter strikes out, so the game stays at 2-0. We head to the sixth, and with two outs, it's back-to-back home runs by two players that have been struggling. Different situations for both of them, but they have been. And it's Josh Donaldson, his 7th home run of the season, and then it's Joey Gallo, who hits his 10th home run. And for me, it worries me when Gallo does hits home runs, because then it's like, all right, the chances of Gallo sitting have decreased, but I still would like to think the Yankees understand that, Gallo is just not the solution, but he does homer there. And so Donaldson and Gallo go back-to-back. The Yankees have hit a lot of back-to-back home runs this year, and I think the stats back that up, where I think they might already have more back-to-back home runs than they had all of last year, or maybe it's just shy of that number, but on pace for a lot. So it's 4-0 right there. And then Severino finishes it off in the sixth. They take out starter Mitch Keller, who had pitched those first 6 innings for Pittsburgh, and Tyler Beatty comes on and gives up a solo shot to Kyle Higashioka, his 5th homer of the season. And so that makes it 5-0. Wandy Peralta comes on and pitches a really clean 1-2-3 7th. And then in the 8th, former Yankee Manny Banuelos makes his Pirates debut, and it did not work out well for him. Joey Gallo strikes out. Joey Gallo would actually record 2 of the 3 outs in this inning, and then it's just an explosion, which leads to a grand slam by Aaron Judge, his 30th home run of the season. Good to see Judge get there, and look, he is kind of on pace for about 60 home runs, just a little shy of 60 home runs. I don't think he'll get there. But look, Aaron Judge certainly, it kind of almost reminds you of the Chris Kreider situation, where it's like Kreider eventually got to 52 goals. Judge should certainly crack 50 home runs. He's done it before in his career. It wouldn't be the first time, but you could be looking at a 50 to 55 home run season for Aaron Judge. That's no small feat. And so Judge makes it 9-0. And then Aaron Hicks gets a double, kind of padding the stats for Hicks in this game where he didn't start. He came in when they took Matt Carpenter out, for defensive purposes. Then Banuelos is out at that point. Rough night for Manny Banuelos. Chris Stratton comes on. You get a sac fly by Josh Donaldson, making it 10-0. Then Aroldis Chapman pitches that 1-2-3 8th inning. And then in the 9th, position player Josh Van Meter it was batting practice. You get a grand slam by Aaron Hicks, so it's grand slams in back-to-back innings. It's Hicks' 4th home run of the season. Does it as the righty versus the righty. Then it's another back-to-back home run. And so you get back-to-back again, and it's Giancarlo Stanton, his 21st run of the season. And Stanton had been struggling to that point. So hopefully that home run can get Stanton going a bit here, because the stats have been, he had dropped, I think maybe even with that home run, he's still below 240 batting average-wise. And then eventually it's Kyle Higashioka RBI single, makes it 16-0. And then Albert Abreu comes on, pitches a scoreless ninth that gives the Yankees a shutout. They have the most shutouts in baseball, I believe, with 12 now. And so the Yankees win it 16-0 against the Pirates. And now they will head to Boston, which should be a very interesting, fun series. Their first series at Fenway Park. And the first one is kind of the one that I'm looking forward to the most. It's Garrett Cole back at Fenway for the first time since his meltdown in the playoffs. And I let's see how he does. Expectations for me are not the highest. I know he's been good lately, but I wonder how he'll do here. This will be somewhat telling for me. I mean, again, it's not the playoffs, but back to the scene of the crime, really in his ugliest moment as a Yankee. Let's see how he does at Fenway Park. And he'll be going up against Josh Winkowski, who is a rookie for the Red Sox and has done a pretty good job. Doesn't have great strikeout numbers, but pretty serviceable. He's done pretty well. And so that's that first matchup. These are all 4-night games. Game 2 will be Nestor Cortez. Red Sox haven't announced their starter for Game 2. Then Game 3 will be Jordan Montgomery, and the Red Sox haven't announced their starter for Game 3. And then the final game on Sunday Night Baseball will be Jameson Taillon against Nick Pivetta. The Yankees, I wish that Severino was pitching the series personally. That's the one bummer. But again, it's a 4-game set. One person isn't going to pitch, and it's going to be Severino in this case. I think Severino would have been advantageous in this type of series against the Red Sox, but it's not going to happen. And like I said, this is a series that you kind of circle on the calendar. And for me, I would settle for 2 out of 4, considering where the Yankees are standings-wise, but I'd really like to win 3 out of 4. I really would like to go into Boston. And look, the Red Sox are battling out there right in that wild card mix, right in the thick of that race. They've done, the last couple of games they didn't do well against the Rays, but overall, in the past month and month plus, they've done really, really well, the Boston Red Sox. So I would love to go in there and mess up their season a bit. And so, for me, I'd be very happy with the 3 out of 4, but if it's 2 out of 4, I'll certainly settle on that. So that's probably where you're looking at, is somewhere in that split range, or if things really break well, go 3 out of 4. So let's see if Garrett Cole can get it off to a good start. Hopefully Anthony Rizzo can return at some point in the series. And Yankees Red Sox, the rivalry is renewed. First series since the home opener, where the Yankees did take 2 out of 3 against the Red Sox. Red Sox will be hoping for a better outcome this time, and this should be pretty fun.